What's up, traders? Welcome to today's Equity Empire Chart Analysis session. When most investors are throwing darts, we're looking for clues in the charts. We've got a special chart analysis session today, and the reason I say it's special is because we're going to be covering a large number of charts rather than just one, and these charts were recommended by my amazing followers on the PelicanTrader account on the X.com platform. So let's get right into the action. The first few suggestions are from V for Victory, and his first suggestion was DELL. So let's look at DELL. Got to look for support and resistance levels. There's a support level right in the 121 to 117 price range, and another support level just below that. Two good looking support levels to consider in the 111 to 106. We do have some resistance overhead that we need to consider if you're going to enter one of those two support levels. And that resistance is, you got the overhang from that gap down, you got resistance just above that, and then you got this major resistance at all-time highs up here. Actually, I'm sorry, that wasn't all-time highs, that was near all-time highs. But we do have some pretty significant resistance, and then there's major resistance up here at these all-time highs, okay? So, two support levels, we do have several different levels of resistance to be aware of. Let's move on. AMD had a rough day on Friday, but it's nearing support. So let's go find support and resistance on AMD. There's a support level that we're getting pretty close to, the 147.61 to 143 price range. Then there's another support level just below that. There's plenty of support levels to consider here in AMD. So we can just go support level. I could keep drawing these support levels for quite some time, but I'm just going to focus on the nearest ones here. So we're very close to a support level that could be tradable for either a quick bounce or a lower entry price for a longer term position. Now, resistance. Let's go look at resistance. There is resistance in the 170 to 164 price range, and then more resistance just up here, in the 180 to 185. So three support levels, two resistance levels to consider for AMD. Let's move on. BB, Blackberry, support. Let's find support first. We do have support right down here, pretty clearly defined support in the 365 to 354 price range. We do have some resistance to consider right here, 410 to 416. There's a little more resistance above that. There's actually several different resistance levels. I'm not going to get into them, but there's more 420, 450, and then you got this major resistance level right up here, which I will draw that one. Okay, that's a biggie. That was quite an interesting day there. Okay, okay, so let's move on. PayPal. PayPal, we're at support. We're very close to support on PayPal. Some nice looking support level right here. We kissed it once just on Thursday. Bounced off of it. But we're kind of bouncing, hopping along the support level in the 62 price range down to 63.34. There's another little tiny support level below that. And then beneath that, we do have this good looking support level here, right down here. We bounced off that one several times. So there's two interesting support levels. Let's go see what we're looking at in terms of resistance. I'm just going to draw one for resistance. There's several, but the nearest one would be in the 77.77. Lucky sevens price range. Okay, so there's a couple support levels, one resistance level for PayPal. Now I'm going to move forward on to suggestions from Rico. Thank you, V for Victory, for those ideas. You had several more. I'll try to cover those in future videos. I think I've got 35 names on the list here, so I'm trying to cover as much as possible with the limited amount of time I have here. So, all right, let's move forward. Rico is asking for ENVX. Let's go look at ENVX. ENVX. All right, we're nearing support. We're nearing support on ENVX, so this is kind of interesting. Support level right here, very close to that support level in the 878 to 788 price range. Okay, so that is a good looking. The reason I say that's a good looking support level is think of this as a rocket ship platform. So this is Cape Canaveral, and a rocket ship took off there. Here's the platform. Okay, so that's right before that big blast off. So this could be tradable for a bounce, or it may find support and start heading higher from there. But that's a good looking support level. If you want to make it even bigger, that's really the support level there. So 878 to 718. So we're just getting close to that. Now resistance, we've got a couple resistance levels to consider. There's a small resistance level right here in the 1029 to 1075 range. And then you got additional resistance, a more meaningful resistance at the gap up here, just at the start of that gap lower. Oh, wrong button there. In the 1326 to 1378 price range. Okay, so one big support level, two resistance levels to consider for ENVX. Thank you, Rico. KT is asking about ADUR, ADUR. ADUR. Okay, we have a couple good-looking support levels. I'm going to draw a minor one that we're pretty close to. So we're kind of, there's a little bit of support here that we're kind of bouncing off a little bit. There's another good-looking support level just below that. So that one's at 10 to 1043. There's one at just around 9, up just a little above 9 to 859, and then one just below that. So we do have several key support levels to consider here on ADUR. And then you got resistance right up here. Okay, resistance right in the 1202 to 1245 price range. Okay, so good looking tradable ranges on ADUR. Thank you, KT. Daniel's asking about Grab and BitMiner. So let's get into Grab. Not Grab. Here we go. G-R-A-B. We're definitely in a sideways trend here in Grab. So let's go see if there are some key levels to consider. There's a support level right here. We bounced off it in the 489 to 475. There's another support level just below that, 467 to 449. Okay, so two support levels. We do have a resistance level that has provided resistance several times here. Actually, there's two levels there. I'm going to combine the two, and that's in the 541 to 571 price range. Okay, so two support levels, one resistance level. If we can finally break through that resistance, then we could really make some upward progress. But it looks like there's been some, we're definitely sideways chopping. Could be tradable from these two levels until we get a break in either direction. So that's Grab. Bitmine Emergent, excuse me. All right, let's take a look at the chart here. This one's been a wild one, and we're getting close to support. Okay, we are nearing support right here. Support in the 35.55 to 30 range. We do have a little ways to get there. Let me stretch this chart out. We do have a ways to get to that support level. Okay, so maybe we need to make more downward price action before we get some real meaningful support. And then we've got resistance here. A little bit of resistance right up here, 54.37 to 57. And then you got more resistance. If I change the time frame, there's going to be additional resistance. I'm just going to draw this up right up here. You definitely got some resistance up there, okay, in the 70 range. So there's one support level, a couple resistance levels to consider. That has a big wide range in Bitmine. Okay, let's move forward. Thank you, Daniel, for that suggestion. Agent Orange Go is asking about several names. I can't cover all of them, but I will try to cover a few of them at least, so thank you for the suggestions. Rocket Lab is one of them. Rocket Lab. So Rocket Lab is quite interesting here. There is a support level that we bounced off meaningfully right here in the 39.34 to 37.58 price range. So we took off, pulled back, bounced off that level. Where did we get rejected? We got rejected at this resistance level right up here. Okay, so those are the key support and resistance levels to be aware of in Rocket Lab. NBIS. NBIS has been very strong since April. So NBIS is almost quadrupled since the low of April. So very strong relative strength here in NBIS. This is a name that that actually I wrote about on my Substack. If you want to check out Built to Trade, let me just pull this up real quickly here. Shameless. It's not shameless. This is high quality research. Trade Substack. Here we go. And if you go to NBIS, you'll see that I wrote a report either at Built to Trade or Equity Empire on Substack in December. And that was way back here in the 30 price range. So this thing is up well over 100% from when I first wrote about it on Substack. But this is not fundamental analysis. This is a technical analysis session. So let's get into technical analysis. There's a support level right here we're currently in. And then there's another support level just at the low before the gap up higher. Okay. And then you got some short-term technical resistance right up here. All right. So two support levels, one resistance level for NBIS. Palantir. Everyone wants to know about Palantir. What's going on with Palantir? That is some pretty tight congestion that we've encountered in the last several weeks in Palantir after this monstrous run, monster run. So we've pulled back about 20% or so from the highs, and we are in a support level. So there's a support level we are currently in, and that is right here. Okay, so we're just sitting on top of that support level, going sideways. Now we got resistance right up here where we fell off of all-time highs. So I'm only going to draw 2 on Palantir for now. Let's take a look at, actually going to move forward. Agent Orange Go, thank you for those suggestions. I know you get a few more. I'll cover those in future episodes. Once again, limited on time here. Sai's asking about CVX. All right, we're at support in CVX. So you're pretty close to support in the 153 to 150 price range in CVX. And then there's another support level just below that. I got a few support levels here in CVX, and then one below that. So 3 support levels on CVX. You do have resistance right here in the 160 to 162 price range. And then you got more resistance. A pretty biggie here. Oh, wrong color there. That is definitely not a support level. That's a resistance level, and that's a biggie. So big time resistance at 166 to 168. Okay, so 3 support levels, 2 resistance levels on CVX. Thank you, Sai. Previous asked about EVLV. That is a beautiful looking uptrend. Absolutely beautiful. How do you wait for a pullback in one of these? Well, you look for support levels, and I'm going to start. There's a little bit of support right here we're kind of sitting on. Ideally, we'd want more of a explosion out of a support level. There's a little one there. The next major one is going to be down here in the 581 to 547 price range. Okay, so I'm just going to cover those 2. Actually, I'll cover one more. One below that in the 522 to 5 range. Okay, resistance. Let's go see resistance. Got to go back a ways here. I'm actually going to change the time frame to go find that resistance. So our resistance is up here now, right here. Resistance in the 9 to 10 price range. See, we kissed it and kind of knocked it down a little bit. So we're definitely sniffing out some potential unfilled sell orders here. So maybe there's a seller sitting up there waiting to sell some shares in the 9 to 10 range. Okay, so we're approaching that level, but there's 2 support levels to also consider. Interesting name. Thank you, Praveen. Diego's asking about LTBR. LTBR. Let me change the time frame back to daily. We're definitely in a sideways trend. We are in somewhat of a support level currently. So this, well, I'm going to start from the lower levels here. So there's a support level from 11.5 to 12.5, and then we are pretty close to 1 right now. And that's so we bounced off that support level twice, and almost the 3rd time. There's another one starting to form around here. It's really hard to find since we're chopping around like this. I wouldn't have a support level to only use. So I'm going to stick to this support level and move on to our next resistance level. So our next resistance level is up here. 1714 to 1883. See that? We dropped, kissed it, and knocked it back down. Here we bounced off the support level a couple times. So 1 support level, 1 resistance level on LTBR. Great suggestion, Diego. Crack9's asking about QS. QS, nearing a support level. There's another one nearing a support level, which would be right here. So we got a support level between 7 and 6, let's call it. And we're currently sitting at 781. So if we can continue to get just a little less than a little less than a point more downside, then you got support at 7. And our resistance, we've got some slight resistance right here in the 9 to 965. And our next resistance level is going to be way up here. Okay, that's way up here in the 14 to 15 price range. One good looking support level, if you want to be more price sensitive, you got this major support level. If you get a chance down here, that's a major support level. Don't know if we're going to get there though. So 2 support levels, 2 resistance levels on QuantumScape. Thank you, Crack9, for the great idea. Niels is asking about SOUN. SOUN's very interesting. So let's get into this one. There's a support level in SOUN in the 12.5 to 1176 price range. Another support level just below that. 11 to 9. Okay, so 2 support levels. We got a resistance level right here, 16 to 17 price range. And that one, actually, if you stretch that one back a little bit, look at this. That's the resistance level, really. 1624 to 1759. So resistance. Came up into the resistance level, knocked back down. So you have to respect that as a resistance level. And there's another one above that. If we can break above that, then the next resistance level would be right here. Okay, actually, that one goes up quite a bit higher than there. All right. So there's 2 support levels and 2 resistance levels on SOUN. Interesting trading opportunity there. Thank you, Niels. I'm gonna cover. You got a few more on there, but I'm running out of time, so I'll cover one more of these, and that's let's go take a look at CYRX. Very interesting. That is quite a candle there. That is a beautiful looking chart. So let me look at this a little bit differently. We have a series of higher highs and higher lows, so definitely in an uptrend here. We've broken above this neckline here. So it's a neckline we just broke above. This blue dashed line, we just broke above that on Friday. So let's go look at support and resistance here. So there's a support level right down here. So we get a chance to pull back to 885. You'd be looking for maybe a bounce, a retest and bounce off of that. We do have resistance right here, right up here, in the 1086 to 1164, which we're approaching. And above that, there's another little bit above that. Above that, the next major resistance is right here. So this is going to continue making upward progress. Oh, did that one again. Resistance level 1368 to 1419. Okay, so 2 resistance level, 1 support. There's several other support levels if we get the opportunity. But if we do break below that, then the trend changes. So I'm only going to keep that 1 on there. But breaking above that neckline is a big deal. So that is really representative of the continuation of this uptrend, with 1 bit of resistance to consider along the way if we're going to continue heading higher. Very interesting idea. So thank you, Niels. Praveen GL, let's go look at TEM. You bet. A lot of eyes on TEM. Tempest AI. Healthcare AI is a big deal, and this is a Nancy Pelosi favorite. So there is a support level here. I'm going to start from the bottom here. If you get a chance in the 60 to 53.80 price range, there's a support level. And then we have, looks like to be a new support level right here, in the 71 to 66 price range. We are approaching resistance, and that resistance is right up here. Okay, so you got resistance in the 87.58 to 91 price range. So this kind of got pretty close to it a couple weeks ago and got rejected. So if we can work our way above that, that's all-time highs, isn't it? That would be all-time highs. So if we can break above that resistance level, could be clear sailing ahead. No technical resistance above that. But we got some work to do until then. So 2 support levels, 1 resistance level on Tempest. Great looking trading name. And then Oscar. Oscar is also one I wrote about. And that would be on the equity. I'm going to pull this one up here. Equity Empire Substack. This is both Colin Teddards and I collaborate on the Equity Empire Substack, and I wrote about Oscar on this Substack. So if you want the fundamentals, you can take a look at that article. But this is not fundamentals. This is technical. So let's get into the technicals on Oscar. Oscar has technical support right here. There's several support levels. I'm going to combine them all in one. And that's in the 1640 to 1434. There's a support level, support level, support level, and then one below that. If you want to see them independently, there's a support level right there. Here's a support level right here. Combine these 2. And then you got another support level right here. This thing has a lot of technical support, I'll tell you. Look at those support levels. 12.5 to 1323. 1446 to 1535, and then the newest one at 1535 to 1643. Now we are approaching resistance, as a lot of these names have been, and that would be in the 20 to 2270 price range. We're rapidly approaching that. There doesn't look to be any real clear resistance until there. Okay, so we might continue heading higher there, and if we can break above 21, well, there actually is a kind of meaningful resistance level just above that. Okay. And that's right here. So we've got resistance stacked on top of resistance. So if we do get to the 21 to 23 price range, may encounter some bit of, let's just use the word resistance. That's what resistance looks like technically in a chart. But we're on our way higher, at least in the short run. So great looking trading name in Oscar. Thank you, Praveen GL. Kunal's asking about some high quality names. TSM, Disney, Festel. Let's cover a couple of them, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Okay. So TSM, my business partner, Colin Teddards. If you want to follow what's going on with high quality names like TSM, Colin's been talking about this name for years. And how's that name been doing for years? Well, when I first started working with Colin in July of 2023 is when he first started recommending it. So it's up almost 200% from when I've seen him recommending it. So definitely fundamentally sound. This is like the highest quality chip foundry, benefiting from AI and producing chips for NVIDIA. But this is not fundamental analysis, this is technical analysis. And the first support level is right here in the 221 to 228. There's another support level just below that, 205 to 210. And then we do have some resistance at all-time highs right up here to encounter. We're currently at that resistance level. If we can break above that resistance level, folks, if we can break above that resistance level, which I'm not predicting, but it would not surprise me at all if we didn't just break right through it next week, quite frankly. But if we break above that, there's no more technical resistance in the chart. So great looking name, great suggestion. Let's go look at Disney. Haven't looked at Disney in a while. Interesting looking support level right here. We are covering a lot of ground in this session. 109 to 113 support level. Below that, another little island support. I generally don't use islands for support, but if I just don't even want to use this island for support. The next one I'd use is 91 to 93. See how that's an island just kind of floating out by itself? But when I'm looking for support level, I'm looking for something a little more meaningful with a big gap up higher. So you got some sideways action for quite a few candles, then a big gap higher. So that's a good looking support level there. This one is pretty interesting, a little closer to current price. And then we have resistance right up here in the 121 to 125 price range. And that is resistance if we stretch this one back a bit. This is really the resistance level. So you see we bounced off it once, got rejected off it twice. So we have to respect that, the fact that there might be more sellers in that price range. And above that, there's another resistance level right here, 130 to 133, okay? And there's several more resistance levels on the way up there. But two support levels, two resistance levels for DIS. Let me cover one more here, and then we'll wrap it up. And that would be, let's go take a look at Builder. We'll cover a couple different industries here. Let's go look at Builder. Builder, how about if I do this? This is a little bit different kind of technical analysis that I haven't done in many sessions, but we have a upward trending channel here in Builder, and if we make a clone of that line, you'll see that there's a channel here. So we're in an upward trending channel here in Builder since June. So we're in a downtrend. That downtrend channel turned into an uptrend channel. Now let's look at support and resistance levels in context of that upward trending channel. We are nearing the upward boundary of that upward trending channel. You can actually bring that a little slightly higher. Okay, we're nearing the upward boundary of that. Now there is a support level. I like to buy support levels at the bottom boundary of a upward trending channel. Haven't covered that in past sessions. So there are two support levels right here. A little more detail on some technical analysis here. So two support levels, one at the 134 to 137, one at the 130 to 132. Those are right near, if we pull back to this support level, that'd be right at the bottom of that upward trending channel. Okay, so that'd be a very interesting tradable bounce if you get that opportunity. Not sure if we're gonna get it, but it would certainly be interesting. Okay. Resistance. We are near a resistance level. Seems to be a common theme today, nearing resistance levels. And that resistance level would be right at the upward boundary of that upward trending channel. Okay, so we're approaching not only the upward boundary of the channel, but also this resistance level here. So I wouldn't be willing to, at least in the short run, I wouldn't be looking to chase here. I'd be more looking for a pullback to one of these support levels at the bottom boundary of that upward trending channel. So that's the way I would consider BLDR. So we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today. This is a 30-minute session. So I want to wrap this up. Hopefully the recording will catch the whole thing. Hopefully you get some value out of the session. I want to thank you all for your great suggestions. I love my followers at PelicanTrader on X. You inspire me. You are the reason I started on X. And you are one of the reasons why I wanted to take it to the next level. And when I say take it to the next level, I say getting deeper into not only technical analysis with trades, but also getting deeper into the fundamentals. And it's not just me. It's me and my business partner, Colin Teddards. And you guys are the reason why I joined up with Colin to form our research, our deep dive research service, and also our trading service at Equity Empire. So 3 services for the price of 1. It's the best value, I believe, in the industry. If you want to check that out, you can check out the link here, myequityempire.com/performance. I'm not going to be in a sales mode right now. I want to wrap up the session. Once again, I hope you got some value out of the session. I really appreciate all y'all. I'll be back several more times with more technical analysis this week. In the meantime, I want to wish you all the best of luck